read about our 5 senses. Does anybody know what's one of our 5 senses? We use our eyes. What do we use our eyes to do? Look or see. We use our ears. What do we use our ears to do? To listen or hear. We use our nose. What do we use our nose for?
Smell.
To smell. That's right. And when we eat food, we use our mouths and our tongues to taste, and our hands. We can use them to feel or touch. That's right. So let's name them again. See, hear, smell, taste, touch. Very good. Very good. Our first book is called The Girl Who Heard Colors. I don't hear colors. How do most people look at colors? We see them with our eyes, right?
I can see
You can see colors, that's right. So let's read about this girl who can hear colors. The girl who heard colors. Jillian loved the world with all her 5 senses. She loved the tickling touch of her bunny's whiskers on her cheek. She loved the taste of warm maple syrup on her waffles. She loved the smell of wet grass. She loved the sight of wild geese flying across the blue sky. And she loved the sound of their honking. What's it sound like when a goose honks? Honk, 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 honk. I'm not sure I love that sound, but yes. But what she loved most of all was seeing the colors of everything she heard. When she heard a dog barking, she saw bright red. When she rang her bell on her bike, she saw silver. The wind through the pines was a soft gray. And the rain sang a light purple. Purple. Soon, Jillian was old enough to go to school. She loved school with all her 5 senses. She loved the cool, slippery feel of the floor and the tart taste of her apple at snack time. She loved the smell of the markers when her teacher wrote on the whiteboard. Does anybody else like to smell markers? Yes, I do too. Yeah, my kids don't like it, so I understand. And she still saw the colors of everything she heard. The sound of the school bell was as orange as a pumpkin. Her teacher's voice was as green as a frog. Bless you. And at recess, the children sounded as gold and brown as the leaves on the trees. Then one day, something strange happened. A lunchbox dropped on the floor and everything in it fell out with a loud clatter. "What was that?" her teacher asked. "Yellow," said Jillian. The children stopped what they were doing and looked at her. Yellow? A spilled lunchbox is yellow? They began to laugh at Jillian.
Which one's Jillian?
Jillian felt sad with all her 5 senses. She felt the warm tears on her cheeks. She tasted the salt of her tears on her tongue. She smelled the spilled grape juice. The children laughed harder and harder. When she heard their laughter, she saw inky black. Her teacher was worried, so she told Jillian's parents. Jillian's parents were worried, so they took her to the doctor. The doctor examined her ears and eyes. There was nothing wrong with them. Whatever could be wrong with Jillian, everyone wondered. Jillian whispered softly to herself, "I am as sad as a cloud." Aw, poor Jillian. Then came music day. The music teacher opened his bag of instruments. He handed out tambourines and cymbals, tin whistles and cowbells, and maracas and drums. The children took turns playing all the instruments. Except Jillian. She covered her ears and squeezed her eyes shut. What's the matter? Asked the children. What's the matter? Asked her teacher. What's the matter? Asked the music teacher. And Jillian said, I am hearing too many colors at once. Hearing colors, the children exclaimed. What do you mean? When I hear sounds, I see colors, Jillian explained. Me too, said the music teacher. When I hear sounds, I see colors too. In fact, lots of people have a very special extra sense. It even has a name of its own. Synesthesia. Can we all say it together? It's a hard one. Synesthesia. Wow, good job, everyone. When Jillian heard the musician say that word, she saw every shade of blue. She began to smile. The music teacher smiled, her teacher smiled, and all the children smiled. Jillian loved the world again with all her 5 senses and her extra special one, too. The end. All right, for our first song, let's go ahead and stand up. So I'll say a line, and then you repeat after me, and then the next times we'll do it together, okay? So we'll say, touch your nose. Touch your chin. This is the way. The game begins. Touch your eyes. Touch your knees. Now everybody, freeze. Oh, good job. Touch your hair. Touch your ears. Touch your, clap your hands. Way down here. Touch your arms. Where they bend. This is the way. The game ends. That's right, good job. What's this part of your body called where your arm bends? It's your elbow. That's right, okay. So now, let's do it all together and I'll go slow, okay? So we'll say, touch your nose, touch your chin. This is the way the game begins. Touch your eyes, touch your knees. Now everybody, freeze! Touch your hair, touch your ear. Clap your hands way up here. Touch your arms where they bend. This is the way the game ends. What's this called again? Elbows. Very good job, everyone. Okay.
And they're pointy.
And they are pointy. They're very hard, aren't they? All right, let's find our seats.
Every time I poke my mom.
Oh, every time you poke your mommy. Got it.
Yeah.
Thought I said something different.
I can do this.
So our next book is going to be a book and a song. Do you guys think you can help me sing it?
No.
Yeah. Well, I know that's not true. Okay, so our book is called, can you have a seat? Can you sit down on your bottom for me? You got to sit down so our friends behind you can see. Go sit with mom or sit with the kids. So our book is called The Bear Went Over the Mountain. And our song is called The Bear Went Over the Mountain. So the first time that bear went over the mountain, what did he do? Does anybody remember? He went to see what he could see. That's right. And what did he use to see? His eyes. Okay, so we'll say, the bear went over the mountain, the bear went over the mountain, the bear went over the mountain to see what he could see. He saw a dragonfly, a blue bird flittering by, 3 fuzzy rabbits skipping, 5 happy ducklings dipping. And 1 mama duck come nipping to chase him up a tree. That mama duck does not look happy, does she? So now the bear is going to go over the mountain and he's going to use his ears. And what's he going to do with his ears? Hear. So we'll say, The bear went over the mountain. The bear went over the mountain. The bear went over the mountain to hear what he could hear. He heard a cricket chirp, a woodchuck sip and slurp, the hum of froggies peeping, the burst of birdies cheeping. A swish of something creeping and hissing in his ear. What did he hear? A snake. And what's a snake sound like? That's right. So now the bear is going to go over the mountain and he's going to use his nose. What's he going to use his nose to do? Smell. That's right. So we'll say, the bear went over the mountain. The bear went over the mountain. The bear went over the mountain to smell what he could smell. He smelled the spicy pines, sweet honeysuckle vines, the minty grasses swaying, the moldy leaves decaying. A skunk beside him spraying. Ooh, does that smell good? Oh, no. It was time to say farewell. What's it mean when he says farewell? What's he saying?
Farewell.
Goodbye. Goodbye. So now the bear is going to go over the mountain and he's going to use his paws or his fingers. And what's he going to use those to do? Maybe touch. Very good. So we'll say, the bear went over the mountain. The bear went over the mountain. The bear went over the mountain to touch what he could touch. He touched a soggy log, a wet and warty frog, a minnow slick and shiny, a blossom soft and tiny. Does anybody know what a minnow is? It's kind of animal. It's a little tiny fish. And a porcupine all spiny. Ouch! What do you think that felt like? Oh, does the bear look very happy? He did not like it much. So now the bear's going to go over the mountain and he's going to use his tongue. What's he going to use his tongue to do? Taste. That's right. So we'll say, the bear went over the mountain. The bear went over the mountain. The bear went over the mountain to taste what he could taste. He tasted tangy shrubs, delicious, juicy grubs. Does anybody know what a grub is?
Yes.
What? It's a bug. Ugh. Do you think that would taste good? And a worm too. Yes, that's right. A beech nut, tough and chewy. Some berries, tart and dewy. Well, that berries I think would taste better, right? And honey, sweet and gooey. And then he ran away. Why did he run away?
Bees were coming.
The bees were coming. And what were they going to do to that bear who stole their honey? They're going to sting him. That wouldn't feel very good, I don't think. So now the bear's all tuckered out. So he's just going to go home. Let's sing it one more time. The bear went over the mountain. The bear went over the mountain. The bear went over the mountain to go back home again. All right, and there he goes. He goes over the mountain. And now, what is the weather like on the other side of the mountain? What's it doing? Snowing. And what season is that?
Christmas.
Close. Is it summertime? Is it fall time? No. What's that called? It's winter. That's right. Does anybody know, what do bears do during the winter? They sleep. And does anybody know the special word for that? When you sleep all winter, it's called hibernation. Very good. Back down the other side, he plodded satisfied. His spirits were just soaring from all of his exploring. And now the bear is snoring snugly in his den. So what do you think it sounds like when a bear snores? That's right. Those are good bear snores. The end. Okay, so for our next song, let's stand up. Okay, so again, I'll say a line, you repeat after me, and then the next times we'll do it together because it's pretty easy. So we'll say, my hands like to clap. Now you say it.
My hands like to clap.
That's right. My hands like to clap. Say it again.
My hands like to clap.
When I hear music,
When I hear music,
my hands like to clap.
my hands like to clap.
Very good. Okay, so now we're going to tap our toes. So we'll all do it together. So we'll say, my toes like to tap. My toes like to tap. When I hear music, my toes like to tap. Very good. Now let's wiggle our shoulders. So we'll say, my shoulders like to wiggle. My shoulders like to wiggle. When I hear music, my shoulders like to wiggle. Okay, now let's do our heads, and our heads are going to nod. So we'll say, my head likes to nod. My head likes to nod. When I hear music, my head likes to nod. Very good. So now we're going to do it all together. So we're going to clap our hands, tap our toes, wiggle our shoulders, and nod our heads. Okay? So we'll say, my hands like to clap. My hands like to clap. When I hear music, my hands like to clap. My toes like to tap. My toes like to tap. When I hear music, my toes like to tap. My shoulders like to wiggle. My shoulders like to wiggle. When I hear music, my shoulders like to wiggle. My head likes to nod. My head likes to nod. When I hear music, my head likes to nod. Great job, everyone. So what's that called? If we're listening to music and our shoulders are wiggling and we're clapping and our heads bopping, what's that called? We are dancing. That's very good. Very good job, everyone. Those were great dance moves.
Do you need help eating that?
I don't, but thank you so much for your offer, Sammy.
I can reach it over there.
If I need help next time, I'll make sure to ask you, okay? Thank you so much. Our last book is called Rain. Rain. Does anybody know what kind of animal this is? It's very close. It's a kind of monkey. It's not, it's close.
I know.
Say it.
A gorilla monkey.
Oh, maybe it's a gorilla monkey. Okay, that's very close. We'll find out, okay? It was hot. Everything was getting dry. The red soil was hot and dry and cracked. A porcupine sniffed around. It's time, she whispered. The rain is coming. I can smell it. I must tell the zebras. Lightning flashed. The rain is coming, said the zebras. The porcupine can, what'd the porcupine do? Smell it. And we can see it. We must tell the baboons. There's that name of the monkey. They're called baboons. Thunder boomed. The rain is coming, cried the baboons. Porcupine can smell it. The zebras can see it. And we can hear it. We must tell the rhino. A raindrop splashed. The rain is here, said the rhino. Porcupine can smell it. The zebras can see it. The baboons can hear it. And I can feel it. I must tell the lion. The lion spoke in a deep purr. Yes, the rain is here. I can smell it. I can see it. I can hear it. I can touch it. And I can taste it. Yeah, look, he's using his big tongue to taste that rainwater. It rained and it rained and it rained. It rained until every river gushed and gurgled. It rained until every water hole was full. Then the rain stopped, and everywhere long, feathery grasses grew from the soil. Every tree began to sprout fresh, green leaves. I can't taste the rain now, purred the lion, but I can enjoy the shade of the big, green leaves. I can't feel the rain now, said the rhino, but I can lie in the cool, soft, squelchy mud. That looks like fun, doesn't it? Yeah. We can't hear the rain now, shouted the baboons, but we can eat fresh, juicy fruit from the trees. Does anybody know what kind of fruit this is?
Orange.
It looks like an orange, that's right, but they live in Africa, close, so it's called a mango. Mangoes.
My daddy like mango.
Oh, does he? We can't see the rain now, said the zebras, but we can have a refreshing drink from the water hole.
They almost drink it all.
I bet it's getting close. I can't smell the rain now, whispered the porcupine, but I know that it will come back again when it's time. The sun shone over the plain. It was hot. Everything was drying out. The red soil was hot and dry, and a tiny crack appeared. Do we remember what happened at the beginning after all the soil was hot and dry and cracked? What happened? It rained. That's right. So it's going to rain again. The end.